Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Turner Podcasting System on indiequebec.com. It's the Prez here once again with my co-host, the WCW expert himself, the Stinger. Stinger, how you doing, man?
Amazing. The weather is starting to get better. Wrestling fans, Montreal, we're excited. Some shows are probably about to unfold quickly. It's going pretty good in the wrestling world. I saw Rampage last night. Tried to reenact it with some 2K22 and some WCW 98, man. I'm really happy we're doing this episode specifically. It's just amazing. Prez,
For
I'll
sure.
let you do the intro, as
Yeah.
it was a treat to watch.
For sure. We'll get right into it, for sure. So last week we reviewed Uncensored 98, which was an awesome pay-per-view.
Amazing pay-per-view.
And so we're continuing. This is the Nitro right after, so the night after. And this one came from Club La Villa in Panama City, Florida, which is like an outdoor venue. It's the world's biggest nightclub, or maybe not the world's, but America's biggest nightclub. I think now it's not as hype as it used to be, but at this time it was like
it was huge.
Really hype.
It was the parties of parties. Like it was the Ibiza pretty much of man, it's spring break. I think that's where they shot all those mild porn. What was it? Girls Gone Wild.
Yeah, Girls Gone Wild. Exactly. It originated there.
It's
MTV,
there, man.
every spring break, like every show would be from spring break, and at this exact club too. Like if you want to look at that, if people want to look that up.
So everyone was beer bonging beer.
It was known, like in that era, like people knew Panama City was a spring break destination. Now there's other places like Cancun people go to, just like anywhere kind of, but in this time it was really like, this was the place to be. I love this outdoor venue. It reminded me of how these days AEW does like special episodes here and there of Dynamite, like, because this was like, they were calling it, I think, Spring Breakdown or something like that.
Right. And there was always a special theme, like, and yes, A&W, you were right, man. They did it a few times, so very reminiscent of that. Man, it's it's that TNT vibe.
It feels very cable
it's
TV.
so cable vibe, and man, there's just ultimate classic. Like what we are about to review was a classic embodiment of WCW 1998 and that themed era, as we say.
So when I say a nightclub, okay, this show, though, it doesn't look like it's really happening from a nightclub. It looks way like, just saying that, it won't give people an idea really of what it looked like. Okay.
Right.
So the ring, okay, this nightclub was like an open air / indoor. They had an indoor part, but the wrestling part take place outside, because it has an outdoor area which is right beside the ocean. But you don't see the ocean part because there's like the whole crowd. But there's a pool. The ring is like on a platform over the pool, basically, or like floating on the pool somehow. I don't exactly know how they did it, but it's awesome. The whole ring is surrounded by a pool.
I think they had like not a floater, like a platform floater, just to hold. No, not even. Yeah, like when I saw it, I was like, whoa, this is pretty advanced.
Yeah, like I don't know if they custom made that, or was it maybe like a dance floor that they already had there, that like a dance floor over the pool.
That would make sense. That would make sense. But the setting was amazing, and awesome. Like man, you can't get it. Like that crushed WWE in some aspects. Like when it came to that, WWE was still pretty strong, but you could not match just that setting, the Panama City setting, that beach setting. That. Wild. It was wild.
It was awesome.
It was wild.
Like,
it was a wild episode.
I just thought of this, and I didn't think of this while even watching it, but the episode of Raw that would be competing head to head with this episode would have been the episode. No, it would have been maybe not right after. It would have been around the time of WrestleMania 14 or right after. So like, these are hype Raws. Either you have like Mike Tyson with
Shawn
Michaels,
Michaels,
or if it was like just after, you had like Austin, first time being a champion, building his feud with McMahon, and you had the formation of like the new version of DX with the Outlaws joining DX officially,
Right,
and X
right,
Pac coming back to WWE.
right. And
So like,
Kane was feuding his brother.
yeah, exactly. Kane had just had his first official match against the Undertaker. Like they had finally wrestled at WrestleMania, so like they were like officially like having
Yeah, this
matches
was
against each
yeah,
other and
they
stuff.
had hyped it from Bad Blood when he showed up and
Exactly,
ripped
yeah.
the door out, and so it went from 97 late night, like November, I think, November 97, all the way to now we're in April. Yeah,
March.
we're in spring, we're in March. Sorry
Yeah.
about that. So I'm looking at the calendar, that's why. I'm looking at all them bills. But yeah, for sure. So this was the same era, so it was still pretty solid, right?
Oh yeah.
WCW was still doing well. You know, like the death I think comes
WCW was
near.
still winning in the ratings at
Yes,
this
so
time.
this was this is still in the Monday Night War era of WCW dominating. So and
Yeah.
it showed, man, that Nitro was amazing. Like you can't beat that Nitro. Yes, you had a good pedigree of wrestlers in the other promotion, WWE, which is humongous, but you couldn't beat the freshness, and they
The
had just good.
setting,
Yeah, man, like
it really looked like they were really trying hard to put on a good show. And I'll say that that is the opposite vibe that we got from like all those 2000 shows we
it's
reviewed,
because they
where it looked
gave
like
up,
people didn't
man.
give a fuck.
Yeah, it's sad, bro. They gave up. They took advantage. You didn't give a fuck, like you just said, dude. And like, dude, this was just like we were treated because we did uncensored and we landed right on this Nitro. We're
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
the
yeah.
next
This is
Nitros after
definitely
that.
one of the most iconic Nitros ever.
For sure, for sure. So to me, this is an image of WCW 1998. Like you can't top this. Obviously,
No,
there's probably
definitely.
other amazing nitros, but this is the spring break. Because I used to see it through commercials. I saw it once, and I was like, "Whoa!" Me
Yeah,
and my
yeah.
brother
They'd
were like,
show
"They're
clips
wrestling in the
back of
pool,"
this. It would always be like, yo, that was
and we're
awesome.
like, "Yo, WCW has this. They're slamming people in the pool," and then we're like, "Oh, Kane and Taker, all right." But you know,
No,
it was
that's
still
it. Like a
amazing. Don't get me
pool,
wrong.
just a pool
But
is like
yeah,
what?
dude. And then we do that. I'd be like giving my little cousin elbow drops in the pool and be like, I'm Booker T. But
Exactly. No,
let's start
exactly.
the amazing
So
card,
yeah,
man.
so the show starts off with the NWO all coming out. This is fresh off the uncensored pay-per-view, as we said. So they're talking a bit about what happened there. Hogan and Savage, like, kind of reconciled at the pay-per-view. That's what they think, like, basically. So Bischoff and Hogan are just like ranting on. You got the rest of the NWO guys like messing with the people in the crowd. You got Hall and Nash who are just dressed in like
Hawaiian
vacation gear.
shirts,
Yeah, like
yeah, and
Hawaiian
they're just
shirts and
flip
bathing
flopping
suits
around. Or just like,
and flip flops. Yeah.
don't forget, they're walking out knowing they're getting paid $420,000 and $680,000. They're like, yo, man, we're in Panama City. But you
That's it.
know,
And they're
like,
probably all like hyped to go party for spring break with all these
yeah,
like honeys
exactly.
and
And all
whatnot, you
these
know?
people and bro, it was quite inappropriate a bit. I don't know, like not inappropriate, but for 1998 with the girls shaking, like it was super. It was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a
There was like a
wrestling.
lot of girls in bikinis and
Yeah,
like
like nudity, like not nudity, but you know what I'm saying. Like 98,
it
99
was
was
very
the
like,
barrier. They were
let's exploit the girls in the bikini.
like, this cannot be done today again. Like, right?
No, no,
So
they wouldn't do this today for sure. For
this is
sure.
bad.
You'd have to like just get girls who were willing to do it and pay them, not
That's
just
it.
like we're gonna film girls in the crowd and be like, meh.
There you go.
So yeah, so basically a generic NWO promo, but it sets up what's going on later in the show. First match of the night is awesome. Lodi comes out with the flock. And Lodi's wearing like a floaty thing,
Yeah,
like around his
like
waist.
super themed, you know, like that's what I like, those little details they did. It was just fun, you know, like
Yeah.
Halloween Havoc. I don't like, you remember they
Yeah,
would
some
walk
guys would
around with
come
someone
out
with
with
a
like
costume,
or like
a
the
little
interviewers
mask
would
or
be
something,
costumed.
exactly, or like a T-shirt with a pumpkin or whatever. So I love that little
Yeah, I
touch
loved
they
it. It
did.
was like a real themed show. It really
Yeah,
was.
absolutely.
Yeah. Lodi, so he's taking on Bill Goldberg. I mean, this is pretty awesome. It's early on in Goldberg's run. He hasn't even won the US title here yet at this point. But he's heating up. People are really getting behind Goldberg.
Yeah,
He
they're
pretty
feeding him.
much destroys Lodi.
That's it. but that's good. It's a good starter. So it was refreshing from going to cruiserweight, but we're not done
Yeah.
yet because the next match. But so they start out with Goldberg to hype everyone,
Yeah,
and
it's a good way to mix it up, I find. You're
you
right.
know,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they did that very well. I mean,
Well, just say
obviously,
off the bat, there's a lot of matches in this show. Like it's like a back to back to back. There's not
absolutely.
a lot of promos, which is good. I mean, it was a very wrestling orientated show. So yeah, so they're building up Goldberg. Then the next match, I mean, like we could go on about Goldberg, but like
No,
at
it was
this
just in
point,
and
what's the
out. It was an
point?
in
You
and out.
know,
We all know
that's
how
it
he rolls.
exactly.
It's in and out. The next match was pretty enjoyable. I actually messaged you while watching it. I was like, "Whoa, this is just like Ultimo Dragon versus good old Finlay."
Yeah,
Always good to see great talent like that, man. Technical wrestling, and I just love that Japanese how they brought that Japanese vibe in WCW and the luchador. They mixed a lot, so that is a core quality that WCW had compared to
yeah. And the
W.
international wrestling, like Ultimo Dragon from Japan against like a European wrestler,
Amazing, bro.
it's
Fit
different
Finley
for
as well.
sure.
Yeah, he became, definitely big
A
time right
legend for
after.
sure.
He's a
Yeah,
legend for sure, man. Fit Finley, good old tough guy too. So a great match, honestly. So already you're hyped. You just saw Goldberg decimate someone. Um, you get Ultimo Dragon versus Fit Finley. Obviously, Ultimo takes the match with the Dragon Sleeper. I think he snaps on the Dragon
yeah,
Sleeper.
exactly. And
Great
like,
finishing move.
it's a very like wrestling based match.
Yes.
Ultimo shows like his wrestling skills, his mat based skills. Ultimo Dragon was an awesome cruiserweight. He was one of my favorites. He was like up there with Ray, but the thing is that sometimes Ultimo Dragon would be heel, right?
Yeah.
So like people didn't take to him as much as Ray, who was like always babyface, but like Ultimo Dragon is like forgotten as like a awesome, awesome wrestler, and he was an awesome character to take in the games, and he had one of the most awesome moves set. Like
Oh yeah, absolutely.
his
He had
dragon
the
suplex is just
karate,
dirty.
yeah, the dragon suplex, the karate kicks. I used to take him all the time, and here comes the pain.
There
I
you go.
remember
Yeah,
amazing and WCW Nitro Thunder. And man, when you say cruiserweight WCW 90s to me, I'll say Ray, Ultimo, Hoovy, Psychosis. All those guys are
yeah, they're
top
like
for
the
me, man.
top guys. Yeah,
Absolutely. And Ultimo Dragon is my favorite actual cruiserweight. There's tons of
he
good
has awesome
Japanese.
matches, awesome costumes, and
Yeah. So for sure, to me, he's the embodiment, and Ray is of the cruiserweight era of that beautiful golden times, man. It was just,
that's it. Yeah,
man,
so it's a quick match, but good. You know, like
sure, very
they
good.
get it in, and you're like, yeah, that was cool.
And then
So
you have a
then,
filler next.
yeah, the kind of a filler match. Yeah, Scott Flash Norton representing the NWO with
With
Buff
Buff
Bagwell
Bagwell.
taking on Chris Adams. And I'll say, I don't know if I found it annoying back then, but by the end of the show, I was like, God damn that NWO music, man! Like it just plays like 20 times throughout the show, like. You
That's
know,
yeah.
like
I mean, but I
it is
mean,
classic, but like fuck.
it is classic, but I mean, like I told you, this is high quality jobbing matches.
No, yeah, exactly. Like
high
Scott
quality.
Norton was
Yeah.
like
Like you know
that's
him, you've seen him in IWO and Chris Adams well. But it was still good, like people were still happy. They knew because the card was so stacked,
no for sure.
star power in it that
And
you could put
Chris
any match.
Adams was a good wrestler. He never really got his fair shot on a big stage, but like in the territory eras, he was really good. Toward the end, he was there toward the ends of the territory eras, and he most notably is known for training Stone Cold. So like, if it wasn't for him, maybe Stone Cold wouldn't be who he is today, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely. So
he
man,
deserves some credibility
for
somewhere.
sure.
He had a pretty
Yep.
good super kick. He used to do a super kick off the top rope, which looked like weird. It looked like he was gonna break his leg that he was landing on. Like if
He
you can
did that
picture, he
for
jump off the top rope,
Yeah, dude,
super
and you
kick the guy,
just
but like
land on one, yeah, bro,
yeah,
and you're doing that to entertain us, so big respect. And it was a good match, to be honest, man. Scott Norton's a good wrestler.
solid like
I would give it,
mid
to be
card
honest,
match.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like if I watch Raw or something, I definitely fall asleep. No offense, but
But this would be
you know,
people
this I didn't.
switching back and forth between Raw and Smack
Again,
and Nitro at this
for
time for
sure, for
sure.
sure. But it was always like that because you had let's say not a crappy match, but a less appealing match. You'd flipped it something, and then you'd see another appealing match after, and it was hard to watch both shows, to be
Yeah,
honest.
exactly, exactly. So afterwards we got this like cringy like video showing who was the Miss Nitro. They had some
Miss
like
Nitro,
event
yeah,
earlier in the day,
cringy, inappropriate,
and
boob
it's all
shaking,
people
and
like chewing gum, and because it's sponsored by some gum company that went out of business. And the whole night's sponsored by this gum company, which is
what was
good.
it? Gum
I
Burst. I
like,
remember it back. I used to see commercials of it all
yeah,
the time.
yeah,
I bought it a few times because I saw the commercials. I was like, you know, I'm WCW,
yeah.
but
So it's just gum.
but
But yeah, like I like it when they're sponsors because it shows that like the company was doing good. I even like it now, like when wrestling has sponsors. I know it's like corporate bullshit, but like at the same time, it's good
hey,
for
they need to
wrestling.
get funded, man. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
they
that's
probably
it.
funded some of the set too. Like, don't
No,
forget, huh?
exactly.
Like, they're just like, here, we'll pay for the set, and you know, go to the. You guys can go do pills and drink
Yeah,
booze
Scott
later.
Hall.
Uh,
Scott Hall didn't
rest
wrestle
in
this
peace.
night, and he did look
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
messed up.
amazing for sure, for sure. He did, he definitely did.
Yeah. So then we
So,
get anyways, like those yeah, they had like other videos like this throughout the
but
night.
it's
It
still
didn't age well.
1998. You can't, you know, bro. It's super
Yeah.
1997,
But
98.
it
That's
really
what.
looked like also those videos of like people just hanging out on the beach. Like if you watched MTV Spring Break at that time, that's what it would be on like 24/7 on MTV for like 2 weeks.
Right, right,
Basically for
exactly.
like the kids who were on spring break, whose parents wouldn't send them there. It's like you could feel part of it, like to watch
Exactly.
it on
By
TV,
seeing what's going on. Like I used to see that
And then
stuff and I'd be like,
originally it
what?
started out with like fucking the Weasel Polly Shore, like, yeah,
Oh, the
buddy, on the
MTV,
fucking
bro.
beach, man.
Of course, man.
That's how it all
Encino.
started. So we got the next match. This might be like the weakest match of the show. Mike Enos and Wayne Bloom, who were the former Beverly Brothers,
Right.
taking on Jim Neidhart and the Bulldog. Yeah, what
Bef-
what do you got to say?
Before we start, like I told you,
Yeah,
this was so it was British Bulldog and Anvil. They just freshly came from WWE, and
yeah.
you know, the screw job
They never
happened.
gave them any storylines in
No, no, they
WCW.
just put him on shows. They're like, here, you guys are good. It was a good wrestling match, but you again, they were, you know, against not jobbers. They were a tag team before, but it was again a filler, and
They
it
were
didn't really
probably
last
really
quickly.
well paid. I
Yeah,
bet
you
you.
know, like,
Wayne
dude,
Bloom and Mike Enos.
absolutely. Wayne Bloom probably made the minimum 100K, bro.
Yeah, I agree.
100.
And like these guys, they were mostly on like WCW Saturday Night. But yeah, like you're saying, they were well paid. And but yeah, they were just never used in angles. They were just guys signed by WCW
To do
who
wrestling,
like never did anything. And
but
like
that's the
it's
beauty of it.
weird. Yeah. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the beauty of it.
But like that's a weird thing too. If you think about like the Attitude Era and like what wrestlers were part of it, like you wouldn't think you wouldn't think of the Beverly Brothers, but they were there pretty much the whole time on the
Yeah, you know, to
WCW
open the
side.
show and to see some good old classic wrestling, like, you know,
Yeah,
technical, you know, for sure. That's the beauty of it. Nowadays they make a storyline for everyone, and that's what you got to do, right? It's like, this is what we want to see nowadays. But back in the day, they had your main spotlight stars, right? They had the main angles, and then you had fillers like this match.
yeah,
Like,
guys
everyone
who
knows
like
who
you know
Anvil
their
is.
name, you recognize
Absolutely.
them, but they're not gonna like win
They're
any
like, those
belts.
are the Heart Foundation guys from WW, you know, F at the time, and
Yeah.
people would just watch that. So it
But
was
yeah, they
good.
were way bigger
They mixed it up.
stars in WWF. Like they were definitely not well used here, especially Bulldog, I would say. But they had so many people on the roster. Yeah, one thing I'll say, Wayne Bloom, surprisingly big. Like I didn't remember how big he was. At one point, he picks up Anvil to do like a bear hug, and he like easily picks him up.
Yeah,
He's
he
way
did. He
bigger
did.
than Anvil.
Absolutely. And when he stands next to Bulldog, who's pretty beef too, he, you know, he
Yeah,
doesn't look
yeah.
small at all, you know. So
He's
yeah,
taller.
he was
He's
good
way
talent.
taller than
Too
both of
bad they
them.
should have used them for something later, you know,
They
like
could have done something.
but the Millionaires Club probably stopped that. But
Yeah,
um So yeah, it was good. It was quick, I found. Obviously easy wins for the ex
Neidhart
Heart
and Bulldog.
Foundation. You know, I'll always call them Heart Foundation or they're WCW. So I'm pretty hyped here. I haven't fallen asleep because it's good technical wrestling mixed with stuff. So we started with
Kind of like
Goldberg.
another filler part, but
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
show picks back up. I'd say this was like the low point. The Norton match and this slower, old school like wrestling matches,
yeah.
but
Just
it's all
wrestling.
stars like Adams, the Beverly Brothers. They're like lower stars, but they were known. People
Right,
who really watched a lot of wrestling knew who they were. You know, at
right.
one point they had done stuff. Beverly Brothers at one point were kind of big stars in WWE. So then we get Eric Bischoff comes back out with Macho Man, and then it's basically revisiting what happened the night before. Macho Man and Hogan had that kind of epic cage match that ended like in a no contest, which kind of was a bad ending. But yeah, so Macho Man basically says like, no, I'm not doing what you guys said in your original opening promo at the beginning of the night because Macho wasn't there with the rest of them. He's like, no, I'm still going to take over the NWO, and he's still trying to go for the world title.
Yeah, so there's still friction there because you think Bischoff's coming out to cool it down, but he's being snarky a bit because you know he's a Hollywood guy and
Yeah.
he's just trying to provoke him. So
I think you
you
can feel
feel
the
that there's
wolf
still
pack
tension.
is almost is about to start
Oh
somewhere here.
yeah, oh yeah. If I remember, Wolfpack started in the summer beginning. So don't forget,
Yeah,
this
I
is like
think
two
so too.
months. We're like 6 episodes or eight away, max 6, 7
Yeah, we're
episodes
gonna
away.
start seeing it like slowly start evolving. Yeah.
Exactly.
So then next match, this is where the show
Great match, to be
really
honest.
starts picking up.
Probably one of my favorites actually on the card.
Like this is like could be a pay-per-view match, you know. Benoit versus Raven in a Raven's Rules match. And the whole match, like, okay, so these were two awesome mid-carders. Like people loved the WCW mid-card at this time. And these were like two of the stars. People were
Yeah, this
like,
was
oh,
solid
Benoit,
stars.
Raven. These guys are awesome,
Solid
you know.
stars.
So Raven actually didn't have the flock with him. He just went straight up against Benoit. He gets his shirt ripped off. They don't use that much weapons until towards the end, and they keep it minimal, but they use it well, you know.
They used the whole
And
setting. Yeah, they fought outside and
surprisingly, kind of, Raven wins. I was thinking surprisingly at the time,
Benoit
but
was
then
gonna win.
thinking back, Benoit didn't get that much wins. He'd have like competitive matches, but like Raven was a pushed wrestler too. Like at this time, I think Raven was a bigger star than Benoit, kind of.
Yeah, he was, and then he gives the belt to Goldberg. That's one of his famous wins, Goldberg, his
Yeah,
first
yeah,
title.
yeah,
Remember, he
exactly. I think I,
jackhammers him on Nitro, gets the
yeah,
US title. So they pushed him really for the US title, Raven. And I was shocked too because I saw him as Benoit that I know now, you know, not the horrid stuff
no, but who
on
would
the
become
side.
like a main
Who he'd become a
eventer,
main
and yeah,
eventer.
yeah,
He was
yeah,
a big name cemented in the wrestling world. So, you know, he was still not in his junior, kind of still not junior, but, you know, he was still getting matches of recognition,
yeah.
but
But
not.
they took their time with Benoit.
Yeah,
Like they
Raven was
really,
pushed
um,
more, like you said.
yeah, they really like slowly pushed him. Like,
Savored him, we'll just say.
yeah, like he was having good matches. They appreciated that, but like he wasn't ever like getting big storylines.
No,
He got some cool storylines, but he was not ever in the main event picture at all or anything like that. So
only near the end
no, yeah, exactly. Only at the very
with
end.
Sid
Yeah,
Vicious.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So then next match, Yuji Nagata against the Cat. In Yuji Nagata, accompanied by Sonny Ono, who invented the selfie.
Sonny
Basically.
Ono, yes, I've heard. Sonny Ono, so classic, bro. This is so WCW 96 to 98, like big time
Yeah, man.
vibes right there, man.
Like the Cat here compared to like later on in 2000. Later on in 2000, the matches we were watching with him, he was he was messing up less in the ring than he did here because some moves he botched like almost totally. He reminded me of like Mongo here, like two
Mongo
guys
McMongo, yeah, a
that they're
bit,
like,
yeah.
we're gonna make
Oh
you a
man,
wrestler.
absolutely.
You
And
know, like they had no indie experience. They just got trained and right on to like the biggest wrestling show in the world at the time.
Yeah, they were just propelled right into it. Yeah, the cat actually. Yeah, I saw all the times he stumbled and messed up. The match was okay. Yugi Nagata, by the way, is legendary when it comes to the MMA world. He's one of the only wrestlers, pro wrestlers, that went
Was
to
legit
MMA
in MMA,
because the Japanese had this fascination with putting their favorite childhood pro wrestling heroes against real fighters, which was not a good idea.
yeah, because they
It's
end
just
up losing their credibility when they get the shit
yeah,
kicked out of
remember what
them.
happened to Dos Caras, Mr. Alberto versus
Yeah.
Crow Cop, bro? Yeah, so Yugi Nagata, like when I saw him, I was surprised. I was like, whoa, WCW like really did have huge Japanese and international stars because he's huge in Japan. Great wrestler as well, technical wrestler, trained by only legends, Antonio Inoki, which is a huge wrestler,
Oh, for sure.
legend, bro. Antonio
Legend
Inoki.
among legends
Yes,
in
sir.
Japan. And yeah,
And
Yuji
the cat.
Nagata, he was somewhat forgotten, I would say for sure, but he was on a lot of nitros at the time.
I had
He was
no
even in
idea.
the game Revenge, WCW Revenge.
I don't even remember that, dude. Honestly, like I remember Revenge very well, but I don't remember him being in it. So
I
it was
literally think he
forgotten
was
by me.
on the last page before like AKI Man and
Man.
Biohazard and those
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, like those created like monster guys. But
Dr.
it
Frank.
was that's it. Just like in Nitro, they had like the snowman and some other stuff, the skeleton guy. But the thing is, the cat, like, what was this? A martial arts themed
No, but that's the
match?
thing. Like the cat, he botched more than he did later, but like he did some really awesome moves, like that he stopped doing later. His finisher is like he starts off facing his opponent and then on the top rope jumps 180, lands the other way, and then does like his finisher off the top rope, like the spinning kick, which I'm pretty sure he stopped doing probably because he probably botched it too many times, but he didn't botch it here. It looked really cool.
Yeah, yeah, the kick, he pulled it off. Because, dude, if you botch that, you're literally breaking someone's orbital bone or nose or neck,
Or if
bro,
you
even.
totally miss him, you'll just look like a damn idiot.
Dude. So, I mean, like, I saw what they were trying to do. They were trying to do the martial arts themed match.
Exactly.
It's a filler again. It was okay. Cat botched a few times the steps, but, I mean, he wasn't the best technical wrestler out there, but it was the cat. Fucking Eric Bischoff's son's karate trainer.
Exactly.
Next match. So right after this, I think there's a segment. No, it goes directly, I think, to Scott Steiner and
Scott Steiner against Ray Trailer,
which is the boss
which
man.
I was like, what?
Ray
like,
Trailer.
Okay, yeah, Ray Trailer, big boss man.
I thought it was random, but wasn't Ray Trailer in the NWO at this time?
No, but that's the thing. As the commentators explained, yeah, this was like a mini feud that I had totally forgotten about. Like, Ray Trailer originally joined the NWO, and then for some reason, like due to his contract, he had to come back to WCW. And then all of the WCW guys hated him, except for Scott Steiner and Rick Steiner, who like became kind of friends with him again.
Right.
But then Scott Steiner joined the NWO,
and now he's not his boy
felt
anymore.
like super betrayed. So this is like some kind of random feud. I didn't remember that Bossman had a Confederate flag tattoo, which I guess he covered up for most of his career with a sleeve T-shirt. But here he has like
he's always dressed like a cop or a
bodyguard or something.
A bodyguard for sure. Yeah, I didn't. I mean, it was just random because it was definitely. But I think this was splitting towards NWO A and NWO Class B. What was the official name? There was a term
like the
for
B
that.
show. I don't know.
B
the
show,
B
yeah,
team.
the NWO B team or something was the B.
Yeah,
basically,
it wasn't an
A.
Yeah, like
it was about to start.
There was gonna be a rift here where like a lot of the NWO guys, like Virgil, they would stop coming out all the time with the rest of them, and you would only see them on like Saturday night.
Right.
And like Horace Hogan was part of it. Stevie Ray. That was the time when the NWO really started getting oversaturated. And they didn't need to do that. They could have made those guys just get like kicked out of the NWO, and they could have made some other faction that might have been more interesting, because there were some good guys like Stevie Ray. Never really got a chance beyond.
Yeah, he's part of Harlem Heat, one of the best tag teams of all time.
That's it.
Scott Norton. I mean, yeah, he's a fine wrestler, physically and technically and stuff. But Yeah, they did. They just
Well, I
played
think they
that
recognized
flute.
that the NWO was too big, but then they're like, we can't like kick these guys out. This is like their
Right,
character now. And
right.
also, I think they wanted to keep them for the house shows because like Nash, Hogan, Hall, these guys weren't showing up to the house shows.
No, they
So
would
at least if
send.
you had like Mike Rotunda representing the
Yeah,
NWO, you could say, "Hey, I saw Mike Enos against the NWO guy tonight."
yeah, for
And
real.
that's
You're like
literally might be like a match on a WCW house show.
exactly. You're
The
that's
house
that's.
shows were bad,
And they had the
notoriously.
money in the roster for it, so hey, why not? You know,
Yeah,
they were smart. They were smart. I understand what they were doing in '98. I understand why they
a lot
actually.
of the weird booking, people don't take into consideration what they got to do with house shows, even today. Like, they just don't understand that like the house shows, you always got to like have new guys. The people don't want to see exactly the same card the
On
next time they come
TV, then
back.
in house
They want
show,
to see
yeah,
like, oh, like this time there's a new guy I didn't see last time. You always have to bring a new star, kind of, for
absolutely.
house shows.
Agreed with that. Agreed with that. So we
Yeah,
jump
so
to
that's
we
one of those
jump
things. So
to
yeah,
we jump to
Chavo and Eddie. Chavo and Eddie against Booker T.
Eddie was
For
such a good heel. Eddie was such a good heel. He's abusing him. He's like, wear the t-shirt. He's making him wear the t-shirt.
it's
The
one of
his favorite
Eddie's first
wrestler
like classic
heel run
storylines.
to the
He
point where
makes him wear
everyone's
like
his
a
t-shirt,
yeah, like a what do you call that? It's a airbrush t-shirt.
like not tie dye, but kind of like
Airbrush, yeah, like a
airbrush.
painted
Yes,
airbrush.
super '90s
Yeah, it says Eddie's my favorite wrestler, and on the
wrestler.
back, cheat to win. And so yeah, Booker T, it's another guy kind of like Benoit. It's weird now to see him like only as TV champion, but like, yeah, he wasn't like a main eventer here. It almost looked like at some point, like, wow, Chavo could maybe win. Like Chavo was almost on an even playing field with Booker here. Like Chavo was definitely like a rookie, but like Booker was not a big push star here at this point
No, he
whatsoever.
wasn't. But
But he
at
was
least they
getting
gave him.
popular. Like all the
That's
crowd
it.
was raising the roof. He
Because
was
you'd see
building
him on
momentum.
TVs, you'd see him on pay-per-views. He was making a name of himself as a single, star.
He's one of
So
the guys you tuned in and you were like, oh, he's gonna have a good match. And this was also like a part two, kind of like, well, not a part two, but the continuation of, because the night before Eddie and Booker had wrestled on the pay-per-view.
right for the title. Also, I realized just now saying this. Booker T never won the U.S. title. They should have done that a bit later on. That's how they would have built him, right? Because he got the TV title and then he still fought and wrestled until 2000, where he became a champion. So they had to throw in at least the U.S. title at some point. Like he
I
should
think
have won the U.S. title.
he ended up winning the US title on the very, very last Nitro, didn't he? Like,
Yeah, he won both.
Scott
won both.
Steiner and Booker T.
Yeah,
Scott Steiner had both or something.
Yeah, he walked out as double champ, so that was the only time. But in '99, they
But
should
yeah,
have threw
does
it
that
in
really
there.
count? He was champion for like 5 seconds and then the company closed.
Exactly. And then he went to the WWE with it, and they ruined it. They made their guys take it. Yeah, that's another story. That's another show.
We'll
do
go
one
over
day.
that for sure. The invasion. So
Great match.
Moving on, we get the U.S. title on the line. Ron Reese, aka the Yeti.
The Yeti.
Taking on fan favorite rising star of the era, DDP.
DDP. Man, DDP was so cool in this
look
era.
how solid the mid card really was on this show.
It was.
Like,
even
honestly,
though Reese,
there's elements of this that were like as good as like pay-per-views, and like I'm talking good pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Like this Nitro was way better than the 2000 pay-per-views.
Oh, dude, by far. The structure they had, that started out solid, then another good match, then some random, then a nice promo, then a big match, and then a good technical.
I wouldn't say Reese versus DDP would be a pay-per-view match, but some of these matches would be. And you had big stars. It was hype.
Great show. Great illiterate. And
Diamond
Dallas.
Here. We forgot to mention. During the Scott Steiner match, Boss Man tosses him in the pool.
Oh yes, he does, definitely. I was watching that last night, and I was like, whoa. As a kid, if I saw this, I was gonna start throwing everyone in the pool and pretending I was a wrestler and just being dangerous.
As a wrestling fan in '98, I was like 11. I guess you were probably like
and the
10.
pool was exactly, and the pool was big for us.
The pool is like,
in the summer.
We're wrestling in the pool.
Yeah, exactly. So 98, you saw that, amazing. Good mention, honorable mention of the show. Press.
Yeah, DDP definitely like takes Reese out pretty simply, easily.
We
They
know
make-
it. We know it.
Yeah, Reese is like a really big jobber. Like he was never anything beyond that.
But it's
He was
better
just
to
there
give a
for his
big
size.
jobber. It's better to give someone like DDP a big jobber, like a big name like that, a
Sure.
big jobber, than a little guy that you know, because you're like, well, can Reese beat him? Well, this, but no,
Yeah,
big
and
jobber.
like, yeah, so DDP keeps on the momentum and keeps his US title. And yeah, so then the next match, another solid, really, really solid
Very solid.
mid-card match. Hoovy versus Jericho. Chris Jericho, who comes out, cuts an awesome promo before the match.
Like always.
Hoovy comes out, and here he's like no longer masked. He's turning into like the cool Hoovy.
Hoovy Hoos.
He has like, yeah, he has his sunglasses on.
Bro,
and,
he's
like,
in Panama City. I'm sure he was doing cocaine. No, I'm kidding. He's in great
I'm
shape, by the
pretty
way. He
not
looks,
kidding.
yeah.
Allegedly.
But he looks great, right?
Let's say
Allegedly, but
allegedly.
he looks great though at the moment. Like he's still in
Yeah.
shape, and Hoovy was cool. So to me, again, Hoovy was WCW Cruiserweight
And this
along
is
with
the cruiserweight title, which
Yeah.
like killed WWE at the time. Who was like, who wants to see Taka Michinoku for the millionth time
versus
against
Brian Christopher.
some guy who they, or yeah, like Brian Christopher, or like
Rest in
some
peace.
guy
But
we know that he's gonna destroy. Like, I don't know what they were thinking. They're like, okay, we're gonna make the cruiserweight division, and then we're just gonna make Taka Michinoku just destroy everyone. But like, he wasn't hype. He
bro, it
never,
was impulsive decisions. You're like, he does that. I'm gonna do that right now.
Yeah,
No, no, just focus to what
never
like you were
really
doing. No, like
did it.
yeah,
And
they're
I
just
think by
copying.
this time, yeah, man, like it was an afterthought. Like they kept the title around in WWF, but they never really gave it the fucking attention it deserves.
WCW did, and big
Yes.
props on that, because that was a cruiserweight. Also was, don't forget, it was kind of also the most international of the titles.
Indeed,
So
yeah.
you had an international title. You had a lot of great American and North American
But yeah, they
cruiserweights,
were
but you had
bringing in guys
international.
from everywhere every time.
Very,
Like
very
Hoovy from Mexico.
big respect. That's why they had a big following in internationals, because they respected that belt. They put it up there, bro.
Yeah, and one reason Jericho like really worked perfectly in the cruiserweight division too, and the same thing with Malenko, is that they also had a lot of international experience.
Yes,
They had both wrestled in Japan
absolutely.
and in Mexico, so they knew the style. And
Of both, and they were trained also by legends.
Yeah.
So Dean Malenko, by the way, is very good friends with Randy Couture, UFC heavyweight champion. Everyone knows
The
Cap
Natural.
American, the natural. There you go. So just legendary, both of them, honestly. Great
And
wrestlers as well.
One thing I'll also mention, like a lot of the guys we saw on this Nitro weren't on the pay-per-view the night before, which I find kind of fair. It's like they spread it around, and I didn't remember WCW really doing that. I remembered them having a lot of guys on contract, but then like you just would always see the same guys, and the guys that they didn't care about were just like on Saturday night or worldwide.
Because they had such a big roster. Think of it. They had great writers. Don't forget, they had good writers at the time of '98, but so they had to spread it out, and I think that's the reason.
Like we didn't see Bret Hart on this show. We saw Kurt Hennig, but only in like the background of the first segment.
Yeah, exactly.
Just two examples. You know?
It's just the advantages, but of having a stacked roster.
Yeah, but that also reminds me of AEW, because they also have such a full roster sometimes. Like CM Punk won't even wrestle on Dynamite one week.
No.
Or you won't see Daniel Bryan one week.
But they're smart, because if you cram it, you kill. Like that's what happened with WCW. You crammed it. WWE crammed it. They killed it, bro. You have to savor, as we say, all the because what they did is they took in 10 years of storylines, crunched it in probably 5 or 4 at best, and then you died right there. You understand? With a huge roster, you can stretch it, bro, and just start with one little feud, and one other one will start, and we'll go back to this feud, and then we'll never see them again. And then a new, fresher, awesome feud of, you understand?
So the fans time to like process everything and get into it.
Totally agree. That's why you are the prez. So
here we get, after this, the classic, awesome Kevin Nash, Scott Hall coming back out to do a promo. And they're talking smack about the Giant. There's another guy. We see him, but he doesn't wrestle on the show. We didn't see Sting wrestle on the show. We didn't see Hall, Nash. But anyways, like we said,
Right.
that's not necessarily
Right.
a bad thing.
Right.
They come out for a promo, and yeah, they're just like very casual, joking around. The fans are behind them, even if they're heels. Yeah, and it feels like Nash is building up towards becoming like the leader of the Wolfpack. I feel like Nash is really like even if Scott Hall got the world title shot the night before, it feels like they're building up Nash as like this big star.
Right. And they were
Because he
indeed.
hadn't won the belt yet and look like he's like beating the Giant who had been WCW champion.
Yeah, absolutely.
The
Battle
Giant
of
was
the
super
Giants.
credible at this time.
It was. The Battle of the Giants was credible for the career of Nash. Like,
Yeah.
yes, he is part of the NWO, but that's, I think, the first massive feud that he had with someone, right? Because he was part of the NWO before, so
And
it was
people
always
had
against
remembered him
Sting.
as Diesel being like
Yes.
a big single star. He had been
Yes.
he had main evented a WrestleMania. So yeah.
So him feuding the Giant pretty much skyrocketed him in there into being equal with the Macho and Hogan. Not yet, though.
Yeah, getting on that rare
that level. Exactly. Yeah. So that set it up. So totally agree with you there.
Yeah. So then the Giant ends up coming out and like slowly chasing them. He's like, he doesn't run, the Giant.
He looked like he smoked a cigarette before. He's like, fuck it. You know, he's like, I'm gonna catch you and I'm gonna break you in two, though. That's for sure. But I'm not
like when I do eventually catch you.
But then he caught Chico.
Yeah, he tosses him into the pool.
Tossed him right in the water.
Nash cannonballs himself into the pool. So they make an awesome use of this pool. My
cousin used to toss me like that at Seaway Pool and Alexandra Pool. Remember Alexandra Pool? There was two of them. Yeah, so there's Seaway, Préville, and Alexandra. So I did all three of them. But Seaway, I'd get hoisted like that, just the way Giant did.
Yeah, man. So awesome segment, even if they don't wrestle. And so we're going to be reviewing the next Nitros also. So we'll see where this goes. I can't wait. And
yeah, me too. I'm excited.
They announced in this show that already the next Nitros are already all sold out. So like this is gonna be some hype ass.
Amazing, bro. So I really feel like watching it tonight, but I can't because I won't stop myself. We usually, me and the Prez, we watch it like a good 2 days or the night before. Like we'll watch some of it during the week to be fresh, right? And to really, but like man, it's hard not to like WCW 2000. I was like,
it's an absolute pleasure to watch this. I will say honestly.
Exactly, because 2000 was like I'd watch 30 minutes and I'm like, okay, I'm taking a break now. Just gonna go and
yeah, exactly. It's like a bit like. Oh,
smoke that good sativa, but totally looking forward. So the main event.
Yeah, the main event. This could have been like a pay-per-view main event. I mean, the night before the main event, it was like a hyped match in the cage, but with the ending, it wasn't anything that amazing, right?
It wasn't satisfactory, you know. Exactly. It wasn't satisfying at all. Like it was great, yes. Two huge, the mega powers collided.
Yeah, but the ending, like we said, it left.
So you had a little, you needed some closure, and that closure was supposed to be, you know, that main event, which was absolutely crazy.
So yeah, it's Hogan and Macho who will like they're really like at odds. It doesn't look like they're really gonna like work together as a team. Against Sting and Luger, the classic best buddy tag team.
Yeah.
Luger comes out and Bischoff's like,
where's Sting?
You're gonna be taking on like the two biggest wrestlers of all time alone because Sting's not here. And then one of, if not honestly, the coolest entrances I've ever seen in wrestling. And risky. I mean, dude.
Yeah, that was dangerous, bro.
Here,
I saw that. Like, you know,
a lawsuit,
man, dude. In 1998, I don't know how they. And that was heavy, man, for 1998 because Over the Edge, unfortunately, you had one of the saddest.
Yeah, Owen Hart passing away. Okay, so a helicopter shows up above the ring.
And bro, everything's flying. The ring,
like the ring has like.
It was being well supported.
It has big pieces of plywood.
Yeah.
A helicopter, if it would have like picked up one of those pieces of plywood and sent it into the crowd, dude, they would have been fucked. It would have been
Yeah, it would have been
lawsuits. People
injuries
could have got
and
seriously
possible
hurt. They had
death
to make sure
too.
everything would be tied down for sure. And like you've seen, like there was
Dude, they
stuff wrong.
flapped like when you hang up close on a clothesline, and
Yeah.
not a Lex Luger clothesline, but on the clothesline, bro, and it just went flapping. That's what the carbo. So that was a mega humongous torque you had on the helicopter. So that was just dangerous for Sting. Imagine he dangled.
Yeah, Sting. So Sting rappels down the helicopter on the rope and lands in the ring.
And well, like he had enough
How
time
could
to.
this not be the coolest entrance of
It
all
was,
time?
man. When you told me that, you're like, dude, watch the end. Like I knew what the main event was, but I totally forgot because I'd seen it in the best of Nitro clip where he came down the helicopter, and I was like,
Dude, this
whoa,
was like the best of Nitro.
it was
It
mega,
was.
bro. To be
It
honest, I think we
was.
landed
Anyone
like
who saw that
was
is gonna be
insane.
like, this
And
is
98 too.
awesome.
Don't forget 1998, man. Now if we see that, we're like, oh, okay. You know, to be honest,
Yeah.
right now it's more like, just like I've seen
No,
crazier
but I don't
stuff.
think anyone would even try something this
Yeah,
insane now.
exactly. You get
A
lawsuit like
helicopter over a live crowd. So
dude.
much stuff could go wrong, man.
Got some good lawyers out there, dude, for sure.
Yeah, that corporate TBS lawyers, but nothing did go wrong. Then the match happened, like awesome. They actually gave the match the time it needed. I
Four
love
mega
Sting and
stars,
Luger as a
man.
team, man.
Yeah, they went
Oh, Michael
all the way
Buffer
back.
was there. How could we
Yeah,
forget?
absolutely. Savage in Hollywood, bro. It's just mega. You had four,
Yeah, like the Mega
legends,
Powers, Hogan and
man,
Savage
legendary,
against
bro.
Luger and Sting. At times we had seen all four of them be like four faces as a unit, taking on like the four horsemen or the
Yeah,
faces of
they were
fear.
always the 4 foot. Yeah, exactly, man. These were the superheroes. These guys were the Justice League, the Avengers
Basically, yeah.
of
So yeah,
WCW.
like a lot of star power in this main event. Sting and Luger win by DQ.
When I
Sting
saw that,
still
I was
world
like,
champ.
I forgave it. I was like, dude,
It's
you just
fine.
split
It's
the
a tag match.
entrance.
Who
Like, it's
cares?
fine, and we knew like they can't have a clean match. They
I'm
just
just
want to,
happy it lasted. If it was a DQ after like 5 minutes,
yeah.
that would have sucked.
But it was
But
long. It
they
was
actually
fairly
wrestled,
long.
yeah.
Yeah, it was fairly long, so it was good. Honestly, satisfied.
Yeah.
Great main event.
No complaints for me. I don't mind that it was a DQ. I mind more a DQ when there's something on the line, when it's an obvious DQ, like when it's going to be like a title match and you're like, there's no way that guy's beating this guy. But
Right.
yeah, so like it doesn't matter. It's cool. We can't really tell where the storylines are going, but it's like it's exciting, It's like,
Yes,
whoa, like
because
what's happening?
you had the NWO feud in the main event. You had the NWO feuding the Sting and Luger, and you knew that the NWO had beef. So you
Between
had like
themselves, yeah.
yeah, exactly. So it was just like it was just like a square type or so it was great, man. Honestly, they were just fresh and innovative at the time. The sets and man, this show I would rate, to be honest, solid. I think 10 on 10.
10 on 10, man.
10 on 10.
I'm gonna give it a 9 on 10, but like a 10 on 10 is almost impossible. It's like a very, very high 9 on 10.
Yeah. I honestly,
No, but like a 10 on 10, like it's legit, man. Like, especially seeing that it's a Nitro. Like, if we're comparing it up to like WrestleManias or something, you know what I mean?
right.
No, but like, okay, for a TV show, it's a 10 on 10 for sure.
Absolutely. The reason I gave it 10, Johnny, is yes, almost impossible in everything, even, like in attributes, in a game, for everything that exists. And you can't have 100,
No,
unless
that's
you're
what
Michael
yeah, that's
Jordan
it.
or Wayne Gretzky, but you always get 99 as an overall, let's say, for example, right? But dude, how many episodes of Nitro in 98? We picked a random one because we did uncensored. We picked uncensored randomly.
Randomly on top of it, yeah.
And then we said, we'll do the Nitro right after that event, wherever it leads us. And we end up landing on that. So the probability of quality is
So
very
low.
high.
But I think we deserved it after watching all those crap.
It was so low for whatever the hell we watched before, but it was just quality. So I gave it 10, bro, because I liked
it was an absolute
high quality
pleasure
jobbing,
to watch this for sure.
tag teams in it, Raven, mid card, the star power, the setting,
cruiserweights.
So
good promos, not too much
absolutely.
promos, but they gave mic work to the good guys. Like Jericho had mic work. Bischoff, surprisingly, people don't remember how good of a heel he was, man. He's so hateable. So
Absolutely, man.
yeah, man. So that'll basically be it for this episode of the Turner Podcasting System. I strongly recommend fans go back, find this Nitro, watch it, and follow with us because this is a really enjoyable time in
Absolutely.
WCW history. So we'll be back next week. Thanks for watching, and that's it, ladies and gentlemen.